It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl today. Two great teams vying for the chance to take on Adelphi, become the last of the final four in this year's elementary competition. Let's meet today's teams. First from Glenarden Woods, the reigning Science Bowl champ, we welcome today Jonah Valverde, Zaki Chaudhry, and Gabrielle Privat. And from Laurel Elementary, let's welcome Mustafa Ali, Lesbian Monroy, and Audrey Vasquez. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing, and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty. Easier questions on the left, 5 and 10 points. Tougher ones, 15, 20, ultimately 25, toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds, one of these 2 good-looking teams will come back to play our game again against Adelphi for the chance to go on and join our other 3 semi-finalists in the finale to this season. Let's go over and make sure everything works properly. Zaki, would you try your buzzer? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Jonah, and to Gabrielle. Lesbian, would you try yours? Thank you. The green teams looks like it's working just fine. Good luck to you, Audrey and Mustafa. Congratulations, guys, on being here on Science Bowl. You are the elite of the elite, and you're special students, and we're proud of all of you. Let's have a good game. We go alphabetically, G before L. So Glenarden, Zaki, let's play the ball.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, Flappy Bird can't be downloaded anymore as a mobile game, but you can still download a version of that, and instead of avoiding pipes, the birds have to avoid these prickly plants. Laurel.
Cactuses.
Cactuses, absolutely right. Good. Green.
Can I get green things for 15?
Green things for 15 points. Teams, if plants have inconspicuous flowers, it means that all pollination is done this way. Laurel.
Can I pass it to Audrey?
Audrey.
It's done itself.
Not quite. Not quite. No, Glenarden Woods, if a plant has inconspicuous flowers, pollination is done in what way?
With spores?
By wind. By wind. Because if they're conspicuous, they're trying to draw pollinators like birds and insects and bats. But if they're inconspicuous and you can't see them, everything is done just by the wind. Good try. No points. Green.
Can I get Zoo Parade for 10?
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, you would think if you read the news that 50 years ago giant insects invaded the United States. But instead, Glenarden Woods.
Ants?
Not ants, no. Laurel, instead of insects invading the United States 15 years ago, it was a homonymic British rock group that had the same name as the largest order of insects.
The beetles?
The beetles arrived. That's exactly right. Good. Green.
Can I get, let's get physical for 10?
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, if you've ever had a drink of soda water, it has a sharpness to it. That's because there's carbonic acid in there, which you get by adding what gas to water? Glenarden Woods.
Carbon dioxide.
You got that right, young man. Good. CO2. Go.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, if you watch the Olympics and those ice skaters, they went spinning on the ice, they don't get dizzy because they hardly move their head so that the liquid in the semicircular canals where in their head doesn't move. Glenarden Woods?
Their brain.
Not their brain. The semicircular canals are found where, Lesbon? So that they do not get dizzy. Fluid within them does not move. Where do you find them?
Your ears.
In your ear. Absolutely right. Mustafa, thanks for your assist. Nice going. Go green.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline Science for 10 points. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio if you would, please. This was one of the most famous pictures taken in the 20th century. It's called Earthrise. You can see the Earth rising from the surface of the moon. This picture was taken by the astronauts in the 8th of the 17 missions to the moon that were named for this A-initialed Laurel.
Apollo.
The Apollo program. I was about to tell you, Greek and Roman gods by the same name. Green.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points is as follows. Teams, there is now a war between the sugar industry and the corn industry. The sugar industry does not like that the corn industry says that this sweetener that they put in so many things, Glenarden Woods.
High fructose corn syrup.
You've got that right. They're saying high fructose corn syrup is not corn sugar. Good answer. Nicely done. Go, Zaki.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, we all know that black holes have so much gravitation that light disappears inside. But they're opposite. Glenarden Woods.
White holes.
They're white holes, absolutely right, from which energy emerges and explodes out. You were ready for me on that one. Score update. Glenarden Woods 85, Laurel 85. Tie score. We've just added more points to Glenarden Woods. You have a slight advantage. Go, Zaki.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, if your class had clothespins and duct tape and cardboard and you were making a model bridge, which of the STEM subjects would you be investigating that day? Laurel.
Engineering.
You got that. Engineering. The E in STEM. Thanks, Audrey. Nice assist. Go, green.
Can I get, let's get physical for 20?
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, look at what I've got here. This is a flask. This is a hard-boiled egg. It's not going in there. But if I put a piece of paper in here, lit it on fire, when the fire went out, it will have used up all the oxygen, and the egg will be sucked into that flask because of a difference in what? Because of a difference in what, Laurel?
Friction?
Not friction. Good try. With the flame extinguished and the oxygen gone, the egg would go in because of difference in what?
Air pressure?
Air pressure. Yes, sir. Good comeback. Go. Ooh, the buzzer says we've come to the end of the first round. Good playing, guys. You're terrific. Our score right now, Laurel 95, Glenarden Woods 120. We'll be back with round 2 in just a moment. Don't you go away.
Going to school pregnant, riding the bus, that was hard. You just have all the stares and you have all the questions, and even little kids make you nervous just staring at you. When you get pregnant, all the stuff just goes through your mind. Abortion, adoption, keeping him. You're his mom. You're supposed to be the one taking care of him and raising him. But when you're 15 and pregnant, you can't do it without support. I wanted to give him a better life. When I found out I was pregnant, I don't know, just a light hit me in my heart, just saying adoption. What you need to do. I really have a simple dream. I just want to get my nursing career, get married, and have a family. When I get pregnant again, give them a better life. I'm Miranda, and I chose adoption.
What if you could unleash your child's creativity while preparing them for a successful future? What if you could ignite your child's love of learning with one after-school program? What if that one program was easy and fun and taught critical thinking, teamwork, and communication? Destination Imagination is the one. Destination Imagination has been teaching kids teamwork, creativity, and problem solving for more than 25 years. Our students report increased ability to excel at school. Teachers report better attention and participation in our students. A major university study has documented how our students are ahead of others in creativity and innovation, skills that employers want and our future needs. To learn more about Destination Imagination, go to www.startateam.org. and make Destination Imagination the one for you.
Welcome back to Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today. What a closely matched game here. Very good students here. Let's find out about them. Let's go first to Glenarden Woods. We said at the top of the show that you are the reigning Science Bowl champs. Last year you beat out 40 other schools, and you're in a position maybe to do it again. You've had a long history, winning history. But Laurel says we've got some other ideas. Glenarden Wood, tell us about yourself. Who's your principal?
Miss Boulding.
Miss Boulding. She's been there for a number of years now. I know what a great supporter she is of you. And we always like coming to Glenarden Woods because you do that annual feast. And I know you've focused on Africa and China and the Middle Ages. It's just a wonderful thing you do over there. Tell me who your sponsor is.
Mrs. Stewart and Miss Emerson.
Wonderful. And they are just terrific sponsors, and we thank you for all the great work you do, because this would not be a winning team had you not practiced so much and been so well. You cast this team so well. Tell me, any alternates on your team? I know you got 4 of them, or 3 of them. Yeah.
Lola. Yeah. Ninu, Emmanuel, and Xavion.
Wonderful. And they were listening.
Not here today. Xavier's not here today.
Xavier's not here, but we'll bring the other 3 out. Thank you, Gabrielle, so that they can join you guys on set here. How'd you get ready for this, Zachy?
We would have after-school practices, and we would watch some earlier games and answer science questions.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, you obviously prepared well. You got a lead here. Not a big lead, but you got a lead, and you got lots of points that are still available to you. What do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to read nonfiction books and draw.
And draw. And what do you do? What do you see yourself doing as a profession?
I want to become a chemical engineer.
Chemical engineer. And before I leave you, can you do a little commercial for Glenarden Woods? What is the best thing? You got a lot of good things going on over there. What's your favorite?
I like the teachers because we do hands-on experiments, and the teachers are really nice, and they make sure we understand everything they do. That's wonderful. And you know, there's no substitute for getting your hands dirty and making something. You're a chemical engineer someday. You're going to be doing a lot of that. It's so nice to have you here. You're a good captain. You're welcome. Gabrielle, nice to have you with us today. Tell us the Gabrielle story. What do you do in your spare time?
I mostly read and draw. I really like to draw.
That's great. What kinds of things do you draw?
Well, I really like drawing monsters. I can't draw people at all. Like, their faces always end up funny and the ears are huge.
Yeah, but sometimes people do that. They do caricatures, you know, and they make some features look bigger than they really are. You know, that's part of it. What do you want to do professionally?
I really don't know. I like robotics, maybe something with that.
I think that's a great idea, because robotics, that's our future. We're going to have robots doing a lot of things for us. Jonah, nice to have you with us today. You were with University Park before, weren't you?
Yep.
Which is another powerhouse team on Science Bowl. Why'd you want to be on the show?
Well, I really like trivia, and I think I really like science because I like to know how things work.
Absolutely. That's a real good reason to be here. What do you want to do someday?
Well, I really like plants, and they're like medical uses, so I think I might want to be a botanist.
That's wonderful. And you know, close by here, there's a herbarium over there at the Agriculture Center where they have plants from years and years ago that are preserved, and you can go in and look at those. So if you're a botanist, you might want to keep that in mind for a field trip sometime.
Okay.
Nice to have you with us. Laurel, nice to have you guys back again. This is your 3rd time this season. We can see why. Boy, you work together like a unit. How did you get ready for this, Lesman?
I got ready for studying. We have after-school practices, but after-school practices, I go on my laptop, I do old and new Science Bowl, and also go to neo12k.com.
Okay, and is that a good site for science information?
Yes.
All right, well, obviously you've gone to the right place. Tell me about Laurel. Who's your principal?
Miss Melinda Lee.
And she's here today.
Yep.
She's going to come out. She is so behind you. And Miss Clarissa Blake, your wonderful sponsor, is out there. She has worked very hard. We appreciate all the work she has put in. Any alternates on your team?
We have 2, and we also have another sponsor.
Who's that?
Miss Walker.
Good, you didn't leave her out, right?
Yep.
You don't want to get in trouble. All right, you mentioned her name. Thanks, Leslie. What do you like about Laurel?
I just like that it's close, and that I've always liked Laurel because I play for Laurel.
You play soccer, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, you're a soccer guy. You're an athlete and you're a scholar, and you're a good captain. And being close to school, that's a real advantage sometimes if you're running late. I like that. Audrey, tell us about yourself. You're a chef, aren't you? An aspiring chef. Yeah, you like to cook. You do. Yeah, what do you like to make?
Sometimes I like to cook ramen noodles or maybe make myself a hot dog or sandwiches sometimes if I get tired or just I'm hungry for something to eat.
Yeah, sometimes you just want some convenience foods. That's why cereal is so good. You just have to add milk. You don't have to do anything else. It's already... what do you do in your spare time if you're not cooking?
I might watch television, play on the computer, maybe the tablet, or read a book or draw.
Wonderful. Well, you keep yourself occupied, and you're a fine young lady, and we're happy to have you back again. Mustafa, you've come up with a couple good answers here. How do you know so much about science?
Well, science has always brought me passion since I was little, and I love to study it.
Yeah.
I show a lot of interest in life science, animals.
Do you have any pets at home?
No, I'm trying to get a dog or a cat, but my mom's allergic to cats, and my stepdad does not like dogs, so it's kind of...
That's kind of a tough one, isn't it? Yeah, I feel bad for you there. I like that you use the word passion. You know, if you have a passion for something, boy, that makes all the difference in life. And I hope you can get a pet that your stepdad likes and your mom isn't allergic to if you're an animal guy. Nice to have you back, Mustafa. Let's get back to our game. Glenarden Woods 110, Laurel 105. Our updated score, boy, it is close. Last correct answer came from the red team. Good luck, guys. Go, Zachy.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, you know, it used to be said that if you got a bad burn, you put butter on it. That's the wrong thing to do. Doctors now say wrap it in saran wrap because saran wrap is sterile. It'll prevent what from happening? It'll prevent what from happening, Laurel?
Getting infected?
You got that right. It'll prevent an infection. Boy, you guys know your medicine. Go, Green.
Can I get Zoo Parade for 5?
Zoo Parade for 5, you sure can. You know the snowy owl that we've been seeing around Washington? It's got its own Twitter account. It's... Lesbian?
Bird?
No, I think you jumped in too soon. Glenarden Woods, the snowy owl. It's not named Hedwig, but it could be. It has its own Twitter account. Its first tweet was, "Who's cuter, me or what's that other famous animal in Washington?" What you think? Correct answer is the panda. Bow bow. Go, Green.
Can I get green things for 5?
Again, please.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, a bivalve can be used to describe a clam or an oyster. But a bivalve case is what contains 2 peas in a what? Laurel?
Pod?
A pod, yeah, the pod is a bivalve, just like a clamshell. You got it, you're following, you're listening to me. Go, Green.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, boy, this is a great story. A 13-year-old boy recently invented a Braille printer for blind children by using these famous building blocks that are the stars of the #1 movie in America. Laurel.
Legos?
Legos, that's right. Audrey was over there. Say it. Legos, Legos. He made a printer out of Legos. Go.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, Under Armour that made those uniforms for the skaters, apparently the air did not flow over the backs of the skaters as it was supposed to. So, Glenarden Woods.
Aerodynamic?
Not aerodynamic. You were kind of there, Laurel, because the air did not flow over the backs of the skaters as they had hoped. Some of the skaters were saying, boy, these Olympics are a real what?
Breeze?
A real drag. A real drag. Try again. Green.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, King Midas and Queen Elsa had to be very careful with their senses of what? Glenarden Woods.
Touch.
Golden touch, freezing touch, red.
Science potpourri for 10.
Science potpourri for 10 points. Teams, you gotta name it and you gotta spell it. When an Arctic hare turns white in the winter, that's an example of what? And spell it. Glenarden Woods.
Camouflage.
Go.
AMOFUGE.
Start again. Spell it with, who's the speller?
Me.
One person. Do it.
C-A-M-O-F-L-A-U-G-E.
Good try. Laurel, spell camouflage.
C-A-M-O-F-L-O-U-G-E.
C-A-M-O-U-F-L-A-G-E. No points. Go red.
Zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade for 15 points. Seems your question is as follows. If an insect is going through its development, its metamorphosis, and the conditions get bad and it has to go into a state of suspended animation, that's called diapause. But once the insect grows up as an adult, if it goes into a state of suspended animation, it is known by this. Glenarden Woods.
Hibernation.
Yeah, it hibernates. Good. Go.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Before we ask that question, let's get a score update. Judges, is this correct? Is it 130 all? Yes. It is 130 all. It's a tie score. It's green things for 20 points. That was what you asked for, Zachy. Is that correct? This is that question. It's a visual question. Look at the monitor, please. Teams, in the background are cypress trees that grow in swampy areas. In the foreground are the cypress trees' knees that stick above the surface so that their roots can do what, Laurel? Yes, sir?
Photosynthesis?
No, not photosynthesis. The cypress trees' knees that are sticking up above the surface of the water are so that the roots can do what?
Absorb water and nutrients?
No, so they can breathe. So they can breathe because they're underwater. They can't get air otherwise. No points. Tie score still Zachy.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, if something on YouTube catches the fancy of people around the world, Glenarden Woods.
Viral.
It goes viral. Yeah, good. Go.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Your question is as follows. Teams, one of the skiers on a trial run at the Olympics fractured her sacrum. A sacrum is found in the backbone, and it is what? Two bones that are lightly fused together. Laurel?
The femur and the knee bone?
No. What bones are loosely fused together to form the sacrum in the backbone?
The vertebrae.
The vertebrae, yes, good. Good comeback. Go red.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Lemurs are the only members of this order of mammals, Glenarden Woods.
Primates.
Primates, yes, where females rule the roost. In all other members, like apes, gorillas and all, it's all patriarchal. Red.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, what same word means to lightly boil an egg and to kill animals in a protected game park? Laurel. Yes, sir? Don't ring in unless you have an idea. Glenarden Woods, what same word means to slightly boil an egg and to kill animals in a protected game park?
Slaughter.
Poach. You poach an egg and you poach animals. Go red.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams, President Obama himself called Mythbusters and asked if they could reproduce the experiment that this ancient Greek did with a giant Laurel. Audrey, what do you want to say?
Stonehenge?
No, not Stonehenge. Glenarden Woods, what famous Greek had a theory that if you had a giant mirror and directed it at a ship, you could catch it on fire?
Archimedes.
Archimedes, yes, go red.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. Big one in that category, teams. If a plant reproduces vegetatively, it doesn't produce any seeds because what process never happens? It never happens, Laurel.
Photosynthesis?
No, sir. Not photosynthesis. What process never happens, which is why you don't get any seeds in a plant that reproduces vegetatively.
Fertilization.
Fertilization. That's what I want to hear. Good. Go.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline science for 25 points. Big question. Teams, because of the snowstorm, a lot of people couldn't go to donate blood. So the Red Cross says, yes, we need whole blood, but we particularly need this kind of red blood cell part that causes clotting and is needed by... Glenarden Woods.
Pellets? Oh, platelets?
Platelets, yes indeed. We knew what you wanted to say there. Especially needed by cancer and leukemia patients. Go, red. 4 questions left.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, you know that molasses and ketchup ooze. They don't move very fast. That's because of internal friction of their molecules. What V initial term describes that slow movement, Laurel?
Velocity?
Not velocity. Good try. What V initial term describes that slow movement? Viscosity. It is very viscous. Try red.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, when babies, newborn babies, are tested, they don't have their DNA analyzed yet. That's coming, but doctors do screen them for diseases like this disease that is characterized by bent red blood cells. What's that disease called, Glenarden Woods?
Sickle cell?
Sickle cell anemia it is. Yes, sir. Go.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25. Big one in that category, teams. Spiders and insects both have abdomens. But unlike insects that have 3 body parts, the spider compresses the first 2, called the cephalo what?
Can I pass it on,
You can.
Cephalopod.
Not cephalopod. Good try. What is the second part of an insect body that is fused with the head in a spider, known as the cephalo what?
Thorax.
Thorax. That's it. Oh, we won't get to the last question, and it doesn't look like we need to go there. After a great second half, it looks like Glenarden Woods has done it. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't you go away.
Simple moments are what make every day count.
I'm Gary Sinise. I've had the great privilege of meeting and working with many of our country's heroes, our veterans, and heard their stories. But for the 58,272 names on the Vietnam Wall, their stories will never be shared. Help us change that. The Education Center at the Wall will put faces to the names, displaying photos, letters, and mementos of those who served, so their stories will never be forgotten. Visit buildthecenter.org and help us build it.
Welcome back. What a great game today, a super second half. What great players. Are there any better science students in Prince George's County? I don't think so. Look at that final tally. Laurel 130, Glenarden Woods 295. Congratulations, Jonah and Zachy and Gabriel. And look at all the alternates. Lola and Ninu and Emmanuel. Miss Emerson, Miss Stewart, congratulations. You are going to be playing a Delphi for that final spot. Laurel, let me see those great smiles you got over there. Audrey, Lesbin, Mustafa, you played a super game. And Dennis and Ann Sharon. It's been a pleasure having you here, and Sharon, for the 4th time. Great having you with us. Miss Blake, what a wonderful game. And Miss Melinda Lee, the principal of Laurel, here supporting her school. Thank you for sending us such wonderful students. And thank you for watching. We hope to see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. Bye-bye.